very good evening to you. This is First News. I'm Temba Obe. In our main story tonight, the MDC-T now has 2 potential mayors for Harare. This follows a declaration by the Minister of Local Government, Ignatius Chombo, that only elected councillors can be elected as mayors. Although the MDC-T is challenging that position in court as it had nominated former Senator Obed Gutu as mayor, the party has also selected Councillor Bernard Manyenyeni to contest the position of Harare mayor.
We have been forced to nominate 2 candidates because of the circumstances that are existing. First of all, the MDC chose Senator Gutu as our candidate for mayor. In terms of the law, in terms of the constitution, we are the party which has won the majority of seats in Harare province, and therefore we will nominate the person who becomes the mayor. But we have received letters from the Minister of Local Government and ZANU-PF, where they are saying that they will not allow a councillor, a mayor who is not a sitting councillor, which is wrong at law. We have taken this matter to court, and the courts are yet to decide on our application. But just out of abundance of caution, we have selected another person as an alternative candidate just in case we don't get justice in the courts. And we have chosen Councillor Ben Manyenyeni.
Douglas, let's dispel some rumors. Isn't this a result of imposition of candidates by the MDC-T leadership?
Certainly not. Certainly not. It's not out of imposition at all. We did not impose Senator Gutu. Senator Gutu has been nominated to stand as mayor. What then happens is that when the councillors sit, they will then formally elect him. But the party must nominate somebody. And that's what we did. But the current situation is necessitated because of the intransigence of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF wants to weaken the MDC in Harare. And they want to have a situation where either the mayor has divided attention, either he is concentrating on his job as a mayor or on his ward as councillor. We don't want that. We want councillors to concentrate on the wards and the mayor to concentrate on the supervision and administration of the city.
The future of 5 ambassadors nominated by the MDC parties into the inclusive government remains unclear as their contracts have or are about to come to an end. Earlier today, I spoke to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Joey Bima.
Well, there is no direct link between the movement of ambassadors and the formation of a new cabinet. As you are aware, ambassadors are personal representatives of the head of state and government, and he moves them as and when he feels necessary. While there may be movements in the foreseeable future, they are not necessarily because of the new cabinet, but because the president would feel that he has to either make those appointments or transfer those ambassadors to new posts.
Ambassador Bima, we understand that ambassadors do get a 4-year contract. When that contract runs out, does it mean, can they continue at the behest of the head of state?
Yes, there is a provision in the ambassador's contract for the extension of that contract should the head of state wish to do so. By the same token, there's also a provision that if the president wants to terminate that contract before the expiration of 4 years, he can also do that. So there are possibilities either way.
Would you be able to say how many ambassadors are whose contracts are about to expire?
I cannot tell you offhand.
Okay.
But obviously there are quite a number whose contracts are due for either renewal or who can be recalled to head office. But I'm not in a position to give you the numbers and percentages right now.
I understand. And I hope you understand, Ambassador Bima, that we're just trying to dispel the rumors that a change of government automatically means some governors will be recalled.
No, as I said, there is no linkage between the two. It is really the president who makes the movements as and when he feels necessary, whether there's a new cabinet or not.
In international news, the United States has said that if Syria wants to avoid a military strike, it should hand over all their stockpiles of chemical weapons. This was said by the U.S. Secretary of State, John Kerry, after meeting with British Foreign Minister William Hague.
Sure, he could turn over every single bit of his chemical weapons to the international community in the next week. Turn it over, all of it, without delay, and allow a full and total accounting for that. But he isn't about to do it, and it can't be done, obviously.
President Barack Obama will decide next week whether or not to launch a military strike on Syria for its alleged chemical attack on citizens of Damascus last month. According to Mr. Kerry, there is no doubt that the Syrian government was responsible for the attack.
The chemical weapons in Syria we have tracked for some period of time now are controlled in a very tight manner by the Assad regime. And it is Bashar al-Assad and Mahir al-Assad, his brother, and a general who are the three people who have control over the movement and use of chemical weapons. But under any circumstances, the Assad regime is the Assad regime. And the regime issues orders, and we have high-level regime that have been caught giving these instructions and engaging in these preparations, with results going directly to President Assad, and we're aware of that. So we have no issue about the question here of responsibility. There is none. The Assad regime is the Assad regime.
A Sudanese journalist imprisoned for defying the regime of President Omar al-Bashir has been named the recipient of the Peter Meckler Award. Faisal Mohammed Salih, 53, won the 2013 Peter Meckler Award for Courageous and Ethical Journalism. Global Media Forum and U.S. branch of Reporters Without Borders has announced. Salih, 53, is a columnist for several Sudanese publications and is the director of programs at Tiba Press, a non-governmental organization that trains journalists in the country. A vocal critic of the government, Salih said the award recognizes the work journalists in the country who continue to work under difficult and even dangerous conditions. Life has never been easy for journalists in Sudan, the tightly controlled Arab country ruled by President Omar al-Bashir since the 1989 coup. In 2012, Saleh was imprisoned for several days for critical comments he made against the government while speaking in an interview with Al Jazeera television network. The arrest led to protests by other journalists and civil society members. In the same year, the security services also suspended 3 newspapers and banned several reporters from writing.
There are 3 daily newspapers which were shut down for security reasons. This is besides summons and arrests. I was among those who were arrested last year, which resulted in protest campaign. Several journalists and civil society groups were involved, and I'm grateful to them. I was finally released after the court proved that I was not guilty, but I still have other cases pending.
Sudan's constitution guarantees press freedom, but editors say the security services expect them to clear main stories for publications every day. The security service often bans distribution of entire editions to inflict financial loss on newspapers as punishment for critical coverage. Sudan ranks 170 out of 179 in a global press freedom index compiled by Reporters Without Borders. In sports, Serena Williams won her U.S. Open in the early hours of this morning, making it her 5th victory of the tournament and 17th Grand Slam victory. She managed to hold off Victoria Azarenka of Belarus 7-5, 6-7, 6-1 in a wind-blown final at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Williams bounded in a series of joyous jumping jack leaps after Azarenka's backhand sailed long on the second match point of a thrilling 2-hour 45-minute final.
Absolutely, absolutely. I felt almost disappointed with my year, to be honest. I felt like, I won the French Open, but I wasn't happy with my performances in the other two slams and, not even making it to the quarterfinals of one. So I definitely feel a lot better with at least a second Grand Slam under my belt this year.
And that ends tonight's First News Bulletin. On behalf of the team, I wish you pleasant viewing on First TV, your nation, your station.